Dear younger Tanya, there's going to come a time in your life as you get older when someone's going to say, there's this show called Married at First Sight that you have to watch. Bish, when that time comes, don't. I'm done. That was my letter to my younger self. Since we're on the young letters to younger self episode and the hometown visits, yeah, I'm all sad.
It's not the whole series. It definitely is not, because there have been some excellent series. It's this season.
This season
is horrible.
Right.
Last season was bad too, but this season is absolutely the worst. So tell your younger self that she can binge from season 1
to season
up until 13.
Yeah, because I don't foresee any seasons after this, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just see it getting progressively worse. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like it, and honestly, the experts, they're really MIA. And I was really disappointed with Dr. Pepper this week with her, especially with her analysis for Lindsay and Mark. I feel like she totally missed the mark with them.
Well, let's start with Lindsay and Mark.
Okay. I feel like Dr. Pepper, has she been watching the show? Did she see what we saw last week with the poking and the touching and and when she ever said, what was the word he used?
Hyper
is not a compliment. It's not an insult either. That's right. It's a personality trait. Right. A lot of people are hyper. I can be.
Yeah, I don't know why did she back her up with that?
That's what I'm saying.
After all the things she said to him, go to your mom.
And Dr. Pepper acknowledged nothing that Lindsay did. Nothing. All the nastiness that she has spewed toward this person. And what was it? You said it last week or maybe the week before, that there was a comedian who said that Lindsay is the person who's going to do something nice to you and remind you every 20 seconds. She actually loves it when bad shit happens to people, so she can jump in with her cape and be the hero. But she's not a hero because she doesn't do it selflessly. She does it because she wants brownie points.
Correct. Or it makes her feel good about herself.
It does. It does.
He said it so many. How many times do you have to tell a person? A lot of people, I'm that way too sometimes. I can be touchy-feely to a point, but I don't need you to grab ass me, poke me. When I wake up in the morning, I want to be left the fuck alone. I don't need you all in my face and trying to smooch and do all this and play wrestle and all of that. He's told her, I don't know how many times, and she still takes offense to it. I had to take notes because, of course, I watched it. I just can't remember shit anymore. But with his cat, perfect example. When his cat was sick, look, he's had the cat since the cat was a kitten. I have a cat. I've had pets. I've had other pets before, and you grow close to them. You get attached to them, what have you. He's at the vet, and he's clearly upset. What she should have done as a wife, or as a friend for that matter, is just sit next to him or across from him and just quiet and been his support. Like, I'm here. Just her presence would have been enough. She had to keep getting up, wrapping the cat up, hugging him, kissing the cat, basically petting Mark up and down the forehead. And I'm like, fall the fuck back. That was just overbearing for me. She just doesn't get it. Ugh, I'm so sick of her. And then she made a comment, and I took the note, but she made when what's her face? Pepper was there. I'm dropping the doctors now because these experts are so bad. I can't even disrespect the
profession.
We haven't seen Viviana, huh? And
we haven't. I don't know.
Well, she's not coming back. She left the show, I believe.
I know, but she must have left mid show, right?
It seems like it.
I don't know why she left, but she must have been just as disgusted as us, or maybe
she heard Chris talking about her clothes.
Exactly. Talking about
I was going to say, or maybe she
wardrobe.
was disgusted at all the criticisms. But Lindsay made a comment about Mark. Maybe Mark needs a lesser woman than me, and I was just like, really, Bish? Like, really? Like, if there are lesser women than you, then that's the bottom of the barrel as far as I'm concerned, because she is no prize. Nah, I'm good with her.
I think when she says lesser, she's meaning somebody who is not as hyper as her, even though she wouldn't use those words, not as in tune to, his emotional state, all this other stuff. Things that Lindsay would have good qualities if they weren't in excess.
Right.
And if she wasn't so self-involved, she would definitely have good qualities, but she's over the top with everything.
She is. And the fact that she took him to, I'm like, apparently she had no childhood home because she took him to the woods on a hike in the woods. Remember that? She didn't take him to a childhood home. She took him to the woods, and then she read him the letter, which I thought was, I called total BS on it, her letter to herself, because she basically in that letter digged him again 100%. And again and again. How awesome she is, and how she deserves this type of person and that type of person and this type of person. And I'm just like, so basically your letter was to Mark, not to you present day or you back in the day. It was to Mark right now, like, this is what I need, this is what I got. And then, as I'm on my rant, when Mark took her to his childhood home in Quincy, I must say it was a nice home. Whoever bought the house from his family renovated it, and it looks really nice. But for Mark to say, she was so dismissive and so aloof when he was saying, I'd love to come back here. I'd love to be in love with a man or be married to a man, go to his childhood home and him say, I'd love to buy this one day and move my family into it and raise, be in my childhood home with my wife and my children and raise our family in this home. That speaks, for me, I'm just speaking for myself. For me, that speaks volumes about a person's character, that he cares so much about where he grew up, even though he's had some issues with his mom and grandmom, whatever, that he's still loves where he grew up, and he's willing to, or would love the fact to bring a wife and his children and raise his family up in there. Lindsay don't deserve him.
And for her to say, I'd live anywhere, there, anywhere except for there. I'm like,
exactly.
But you know why? Because she can't compete with real happiness. He was extremely happy in that home, and he didn't have any issues until later after his father died, because that house only has been out of his family for 2 years.
Right.
So he things took a turn at that point for him, but as far as his family home, he has nothing but good memories. And he sounds like his father seemed like a real chummy kind of guy, that he was, a constant, not just there, but they had a friendship too.
Yeah. And it seems like his dad wasn't a good guy. Yeah, it's like his dad wasn't a bad guy. It just was, he just didn't like conflict. And I'm assuming that's how Mark is. I
wonder about the mom, because she was yelling out the window at the dad. Nobody wants to hear you say hello to them. I'm like, lady, why are you yelling out the window criticizing this man? She sounds like she might have been a Lindsay.
That is true.
There is no way.
They always say, sometimes you end up picking a mate that is kind of like that toxic parent. That's what you used to.
There's no way Mark's saying yes.
No Mark is not saying yes.
No way.
And also, I backtrack. I may not be going to that BB.Q chicken on Monday because I totally forgot. He is apparently word on the street is he is the manager at the Chick-fil-A right up the street at the Westgate Mall in Brocktown, Mass. It's Brockton, but I call it Brocktown. And that's where I live. And I'm going to get my nails done. And I think I might swing by there for the first time in my life and walk in and get me a chicken sandwich and be like, hey, Mark, I'm going to wear our t-shirt. I'll be like, I'm going to need you on that podcast, brother.
My sister-in-law says she saw him up in there just this week. So I'm figuring he's probably like the morning shift manager.
Well, here's the thing. It's confusing because I went to his LinkedIn, and on his LinkedIn, it says that he's a franchisee, which I know for a fact he's not a franchise. He doesn't own that Chick-fil-A. Not the one in Boston. Mm-hmm. He's probably at best a manager. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why he has a franchisee unless he's training. I don't know how they do that unless he's training and learning the ropes, and he's going to open up another Chick-fil-A somewhere in Mass where, you know, on somewhere else on the South Shore, but he's not the franchisee of that Chick-fil-A. Okay. But I'm going to bring my happy ass there on Monday. Trust me when I tell you. I'm going to be like, hey, Mark, how you doing? I want to go on a date. Oh, hell yeah, I'll ask that motherfucker out on a date. I said it.
I'm unsure if he's going to say yes or no, only because I had read somewhere that they both said yes, but then they separated soon after. So I don't know how accurate these, like, you know, these little tidbits come out in the middle of the season. I don't know how accurate they are, but judging from what he's been dealing with, I'm going to say, why would he say yes?
Because at this stage of the game, there is nothing that she can do to redeem herself outside of check her ass into a legit 30-day lockdown psychiatric treatment facility and get some serious help. And that it's too late for that.
And if there's any indication that she has changed, we haven't seen it in the times that she appeared on the after show called?
The after party.
There's no evolution.
I haven't seen it whatsoever. Haven't seen it. So it's like I don't feel that she has changed from anything that
she doesn't need to change because, you know, she loves who she is. Doesn't matter. You know, if you don't like how she is, she's going to be who she is. She loves her. Other people, you know.
Like she did last week at the volleyball thing, you know, when Dr. Pepper came out and confronted Olajuwon. And, oh, no, wait, that was at the retreat. Sorry, I'm getting behind myself. When they were all, that game they played, and they all said, oh, Lindsay. And she's like, well, I don't care. And all you people's opinions of me, you can go F off for all I care. And I'm just like, here we go. Classic. Put up your defenses.
Right. Yep. Very classic rantings of a hurt person. And
I'm going to hopefully, I am going to wish and pray to the gods above that Mark says no on decision day.
There's no reason to say yes. There's no reason for him to say yes. But back to her. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. If the sex was great, it'd be one thing. But she trashes his sex too.
Thank you.
So, and they're not even doing it anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think they're even having sex anymore. But back to her, she alluded to just how painful her childhood was.
Yes.
And between her mother and her father, I mean, they seemed like they had a lot of fighting between the two of them, and then her trying to fit in. And she probably was like extremely hyper as a kid, and just, can you imagine? And her mother was a stay-at-home mom, didn't want to be though. From what she said, she wanted it, but didn't want the work of it.
And the father wasn't there all the time.
And the father wasn't there.
I don't blame him.
I don't either.
Yeah. Listen, so, I mean, we just see that she is really I don't hate Lindsay. I just wish she would get some help. She's really damaged. That's just like the perfect word.
Poor thing.
I don't hate her because hate is such a strong word. I really, really dislike her though. There is nothing about her that I just find likable at this point.
Yeah, and I just don't have like any emotion for her at all. It's just like, I just don't want to, I wouldn't want to be around her. I don't dislike her. I don't hate her. It's just like, you just go.
She could never be a friend to me. She could never, ever be a friend to me. Or in our little teeny tiny squad, she could never. because no,
Not even in my big squads.
exactly. Not even like in like
I don't
other
even want to work with her.
squads.
I don't want to even see her on the bus.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, like not even like Shahida, if me, you, and Tracy go out. Like I don't even want to be out and like be sitting across a table from her, or she's sitting at the table across from us, and we got to look at her. Ah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So thumbs down for them. Who's next?
I say thumbs down. Let's go to let me see.
You know what's funny about this episode and the last couple episodes? You can watch it and it just washes over you.
Yeah.
There's nothing that really stands out. There's nothing that like Stephen Noy. I don't even remember what they talked about or what was an issue or anything because it's the same shit.
All I'm gonna say, let's go to Stephen Noy.
Yeah, let's go to them then.
So Steve is from Waltham. All right, so let's go back. All right, we said that we know that we have no idea where Lindsay is from because she took him to the woods. Mark is from Quincy, Massachusetts. Steve and Noy. Steve is from Waltham, which is north of Boston. It's about 45 minutes away. I absolutely, Steve is that dude. I am like kind of standing on Steve right now because he is just, if Noy doesn't get that Steve's got money, she is dumb because this brother has hustle in his blood. When he took her to his childhood home in Waltham, I love the fact that his mom still lives there. So it's still his childhood home. And he's taking her out in the back and he's showing her the basement where they had the parties and all the stuff. But what really, really, what would have made, if I was Noy, what would have made me fall in love with Steve at that moment was when he was talking about his rap career and how he was selling. I'm like, this is a side hustle brother. I'm like, this brother ain't nothing nice. He was selling his rap CDs out of his car with his buddy in Waltham. And then he pulls out his boombox and he plays the song. What made me, like I said, would have made me fall in love with him at that moment is watching his mother. Because he was playing the song. And when I tell you, we all saw it. His mother lit up like a Christmas tree, and she knew every word. Like he ain't played that song in 20 years or 15 years or whatever. I don't know how old he is, but however old that song is, I guess it was a hit out in his neighborhood, and everybody was buying it. But his mama was sat there, and she was like mouthing every word to it, and I was like, "See, that's a good woman right there. That's a woman that loves her son." And that's a good dude. And Noy's just like
as a contrast to Noy, who says, "Why does a grown man have a stuffed animal?" I mean, I was like, why you gotta? She got a little shit, like a little bird shit on everything. You know what I mean? Like on your car, you have a little piece. You're like, God damn, why the bird shit on my car? Just a bird shit. It's not gonna damage anything. But just the shit on it, just a little bit. It's like, why would a grown man have a grown man with the thing? I don't know about that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, she's just beyond annoying. She's like a child. It's like, what is she, 33? You guys said she was. She's like a child. And she didn't get it. Like when she's watching him having his moment with his rap song and his mom sitting there like bopping back and forth. She's just sitting there. She's just like,
okay. But you know, another thing about Noy too is, and it was very obvious during those moments, like even if Steve didn't have money, what he has is a strong base. What he has is a loving family. What he has is people that support him no matter what he does. She doesn't have that. And when she described her childhood compared to his, and don't get it twisted, a lot of times people who end up with other people that have like really good, solid family connections are jealous. They get jealous and then they poke me. That was one of the things I had issues with my ex-husband. He was very jealous and wanted to disconnect me from my family. And I could see that in Noy that, you know, a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with his money. It's just his firm place and belief that he's a part of this world and he's just going to enjoy it. And she feels like she has to have these rules and these things set up or whatever. Because even when she described her childhood and her mother working and going and having like chicken blood and stuff on, did that really affect you like that at that moment? Or are you saying that now? Because I'm thinking unless her parents were the ones that constantly drove it into her head. We do this, we don't have to, but we do this for you, making it her issue. Because I know there were times when there was struggle in my family. I didn't know about it till I was an adult.
Thank you.
So, my parents didn't make it my problem. That was their problem. I lived my life. I think a lot of it has to do with, her parents made those issues her problems. I could be 100% wrong. I have not lived in her shoes, but she was in America. And we noticed too, she didn't talk about being a refugee.
No.
In those moments either, where she tried to make that such an issue before. Yeah, I don't like knowing.
No, I don't like her either. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, after this episode, I'm kind of now leaning towards she's going to say no. Like, I'm thinking that he's going to so want this, like he's going to want to work at this, that he's going to say yes. And she's going to be like, no.
She's scared.
I'm out.
She said she's scared. She's scared of separating. She's scared of not being independent. I think she's scared.
Then why did you go on this show?
Out of all the people in this thing, he's the least person. He's the most stable, sane, considerate, with money.
Yep.
Person there is.
Yep.
So I don't know what she's complaining about.
She doesn't deserve him. And I love the fact, he's doing everything to make her feel comfortable or make her feel safe. Like he went to I don't know. I haven't dated in a very long time, but I don't think I could look at any man at this point and say, hey, you want to go to this dance studio and take some dance class? Like, we're going to do a dance class and we're going to do some hip hop classes. A dude will probably look at me and be like, yeah, no. Not only does he go, but he outdances her. Like, I'm like, no, you need to give up that wig. Or what was her what is it? Her alter ego name.
We haven't seen that girl.
That's what we're going to say.
That fun girl, that wild girl, that
wears the wigs and dances and stuff. I forgot her name. That's how unimportant it was. But like when they're in the dance class and the instructor's there, and he was killing it, and she didn't know what the hell she was doing. And she admitted it. She was like, oh my God, he did way better than me. I'm like, yeah, he surely did.
But then she was like, I was into music. I was into dancing. And I forgot about the whole alternate personality thing that she said she had. I totally forgot about that. So you just said it. She's a liar. I think she made up a personality that she would like to be. And Steve is actually the personality that she would like to be.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yep. Again, I'm over it. I love Steve. I think Steve is awesome.
And my notes, the only thing I said about Noy is boring and has nothing to offer.
She has nothing to offer.
She's boring. She is boring.
And I don't want her to say yes, and I don't want him to say yes, and then they're together, and then she realized. See, here's just if Steve was a member of my family or a close friend of mine, this is where my brain is thinking now, because I like him so much now that I'd be like, I don't want her to say yes, and I don't want him to say yes, and then he discloses to her his financial situation, and then she's just like, oh. Okay, now hold on. Now
I think he's already done that.
You think so?
I think so.
I just don't want her.
The sad part is
just to shut her up. Just to shut her up.
The sad part is, if that made a huge deal. Money makes a big deal to me. It does, but him showing who he was from the very beginning
Right.
That should have been enough. And if that
Right.
wasn't enough and you had to be like, oh, I need you to be in the millions, she doesn't deserve him.
Well, no, not only that, she needs him to have a job.
A job. Just
regardless of, regardless of how much money he has, she wants him to work. And he's like,
wants him to get up and go to an office and work. It's just, doesn't matter how much money he has at the current moment. She just needs him to go get a job.
Yeah. All right, who's next?
Let's talk about
Jasmina
and Michael. All right, so Jasmina is from Hartford, Connecticut, and Michael is from Hyde Park, Massachusetts. And so what? I'm going to deflect to you guys. What y'all think about them two?
Michael. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you've been quiet.
There's no, she's not attracted to him still, no matter how close they get, no matter how friendly they get, now they're best friends, this, that, and the other. She does not get wet for him. Period.
No.
Period.
And she should just let him know. Go ahead.
I think two things. I think that she genuinely cares about him.
Yes.
And I think that the two of them are better off as friends. The two of them could probably be really good friends, if not even best friends. Like, that's my best girlfriend. That's my best female friend. That's my best male friend. In processing this season with her not being attracted to him, the only reason I can see why she's not attracted to him is and there are women out there that are like this, that she's not into it. It isn't about looks, because he's not ugly. It isn't about his physique, because he is got a nice body. And the height obviously is an issue. But I think she likes a more aggressive type of man. Michael is more of a more subdued, kind of soft, not soft as in emasculating him, but he's just soft character-wise. I think she's probably more used to the dude that's like, hey, woman, come here. Me, snatching her up and kissing her and just being a little bit more aggressive physically with her.
How did she even know? She hasn't dated anybody that lived in the same neighborhood. So, it's I feel like with her, my thing is like, when she was telling her story, he got emotional.
Yes, he did.
Cried. He hugged her. When weeks ago, when he was telling his story, dry-eyed. No, I mean, she tried to show empathy. Oh, I'm glad he told me, she reached out. But the kind of emotion that he showed for her, that you really felt like that hurt him, that she could grow up and be that hurt. So, and that's why, and I can see your point, Tanya, with maybe she does in her head, she has more of an aggressive man. But think about how he is in a social setting with other people. He's so much fun. Mm-hmm. He's talkative. He gets up and goes to work. He's dedicated to his job. What do you mean you want? What do you want from a man?
Yeah.
She wants someone to put her in her place.
You're right. That's when I say aggressive, that's what I'm saying. And she's only dated guys long distance, right? Like, she's never dated anyone that lived in the same city as her. So maybe she likes that, where she likes that type of where she's here, he's there, and maybe
that's
he's
what
like,
I think it is.
Where you at? What you doing? You're going out tonight? Who you going with? Where you going? What time you going to be home? That type of thing. Some people like
remember
that.
when she said he was aggressive, and look at how she reacted to supposedly him being aggressive when he fought a little bit harder for himself. She didn't like it, and if he had kept on that.
The only thing about that is that if he was like, yes, so what if I'm aggressive? That's how I am. She may have responded more to that, as opposed to, okay, I'm sorry, I won't be aggressive, this and that.
She needs the help that Lindsay needs.
But also, the only thing I have to give her credit for, at least she's going through the process as open as she can be to not being wet for him.
I agree.
You know what I mean? She's doing the process. She's doing the stuff. She's trying. It's still not connecting. It's still not happening. But at least she's giving it a shot, even if it's a false thing for him. At least she's working. Some of these other people, they ain't even trying to do it.
I still believe she's fake. I still believe 100%. I do. I don't like, even like her story. I believed her story. I believe that she did have a rough childhood. But as far as Michael's concerned, she wrote him off a long time ago. And I think she got wind to how she was being perceived on the internet and changed that shit up. I don't believe it's sincere.
I like to tend to look into a person's eyes and see because eyes tell a lot about a person.
Well, we're seeing totally different things in her eyes because I know you're about to say something and I totally disagree.
All right, so I'm going to the point, and I hope that this is what you're talking about because it's good conversation.
Go ahead.
When he took her to the park, is that when he took her to the park in Hyde Park, that his brother, when he was telling her the story about his brother used to get him up early in the morning and they would go and they'd run around and do all this and do all that. And then he's just talking to her about his upbringing. Her face kind of, seemed like she didn't cry, which I was surprised because she cried about all the other stuff. So I was stunned that she didn't like show any emotion, like tears wise. But she kind of seemed like she was interested, or she felt like there was some compassion behind her eyes when he was talking about that. But I could be wrong. I mean, I did watch it at
And I'm really surprised that I'm as hardened as I am about her, and I really want to give her a break on something, and I hope that she really is being sincere. But I just don't see it. I just don't see the sincerity. I don't see. I think it would be better if she just told him outright. It's just, I just don't think this is going to happen.
I think she has.
Yeah.
And I think the show has kind of like not dampened it, but because we knew that from the beginning, he's got to know it, and he keeps saying,
he says it.
You're right. So he knows.
He knows that she's not.
Right.
And I hope he says no on decision day and knows that he deserves better than that.
Yeah,
I think on decision day for the both of them, I think this might be a first that the two of them, because maybe a conversation has been had, I think this might be a first for Married at First Sight, that they both might just say no together. And like when how they go for one person to the other, and that I think the both of them might be like, you know what? I hope this is what happens with them too, that they're like, you know what? We've already come to the realization that we're not meant to be each other's person, like husband and wife related, but we're going to be friends. We have a good connection, but as friendship and not lovers or husband and wife. And we've just decided that we're just not going to say yes at this time collectively and move on. I'd love to see that, whether or not it happens, because, this is reality TV and they like that drama. So, but I think that they would hopefully do a collective no. Yeah. Because I can't see her saying no. I can't see her saying yes. Excuse me. I can't see her saying yes.
No.
And then, also, in the after party, they said, what would it take for you to say yes? And she's like, are we having fun? And then what to know is like the romance. He's not getting any affection at all.
I mean, and that is a big part of a relationship. I don't care
a marriage.
In a marriage, a relationship in a marriage. I don't care who you are. I look at people sideways when people are like, listen, I've had friends like that. I have relatives like that are in physicalist type of relationships and marriages where they're like, we just get along really well. I don't care if I don't have sex with him, whatever. And I'm just like, that is not good. No. If you have to have some sort of physical chemistry. I don't know I am not going to be in a relationship. Otherwise, we're just going to be friends. I'm not going to be your woman, and you are not going to be my man, and I damn sure I'm not going to be your wife, and you're going to be my husband if we are not having sex and we're not being intimate with each other. Period. End of story. It's never going to work. Ew, I don't understand that.
But sometimes intimacy is different too for different people. Like sometimes it might grow out of that sexual thing, but there's another type of intimacy that they may have. Like I don't get it, but I've heard situations, but I've seen couples who maybe once a year or not, or whatever, but you could see there's a level of intimacy that they do have, like in a setting. Like I could look across the room and I could see them, but you could feel almost like a little heat, for them. But
you don't want to start your marriage off like that. That's for sure.
That is not going to work. And this whole friendship thing that, both of them keep pushing at this point, I don't even see them being friends after this is over. Not like that.
No, because I don't think they run in the same circles. But like back to the sex thing, like we already know, like most couples aren't having sex every day and, whatever, multiple times a week. But it's simple things, like you said, Shahida. Like I find simple things such as like somebody said it on this show before, the chore play. Like if I was dating somebody or living with a man that I'm intimate with or in a committed relationship with, I love that shit. Like if I see a man, if I don't have to tell him to get up and like take out the trash or wash my Jeep or wash the dishes or do shit in the yard or, just even make the bed, I'd be like, I'm gonna be sitting there like, okay, Dad, I see you over there making that bed looking good. Why don't you take off that shirt so you can, that's the shit that I would do.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
No, I mean, but that's more sexual too.
Of
They
course.
ain't got none of that. So it's like, and I agree with you. There's that level that kind of brings you in closer, that makes you want to be really next to that person.
Right.
So I don't know. I just with Jasmina, it's just like I feel like she just has like, and it's not just him. I just feel like she has a huge wall that therapy, just like for Lindsay, would have been needed to get her out of that stuff. Because there are times when I'm like, wow, she seems like a fun person. Mm-hmm. There are times when, especially with Michael,
but it's almost when self-serving fun, though. Does that make sense? Only when she wants to have fun, it seems like she's having fun. Not she's trying to make other people have fun or make other people feel good. I feel like it's always self-servicing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does, because I think it goes back to there's such a wall that everything has to be. And listening to her story, she said her mother abandoned her and she said her dad abandoned her. Yeah. So that's two people. And she had a nasty stepmother the first time around. Mm-hmm. And she talked about one teacher that was really good. That school became her safe space because her home life was so bad. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I feel like that she needs to work out. And I don't mean to be so harsh. I don't even like that I'm being as harsh as I am with her. It's just that I don't see the level of sincerity in her. And I think that therapy would definitely help.
No, therapy needs to be had with all of them. Every last one of them. And speaking of, we'll save the best for last with Katina and Olajuwon. We don't know where Katina's from because they never addressed it. Olajuwon is from Brighton. And Shahida, we grew up in Boston. And I ain't never seen no projects in Brighton.
I had a friend that lived in the projects in Brighton.
I was like, when I was watching it, I had to rewind it back because I was like, they got projects in Brighton? Because I don't know projects in Brighton.
Yeah.
But of course, apparently they do, and they're still there.
And honestly, when people talk about growing up in the projects, you could grow up homeless without a home and heat, and there's worse things, 10 times worse things than growing up in the projects. And I don't know, it seemed like his mother was a single mom, so that could be an issue. And I know there are roughnecks in the projects, and he said part of the thing is that the reason why he's so tough on her is because in the projects he had to be
I call BS on that bullshit
right. I call BS on that one too.
Because listen to me. No. But
I didn't find his story to be as he tried to make it sound like he came such a long way with so little, and no.
All I'm gonna say
in the after party, he breaks down and cries.
About what?
But how hard it was growing up, being from the hood, all the struggles that he had, all that kind of stuff. Cried enough where all four of them were crying. It was her, Lindsay, Michael, and Keisha. And he's opening himself up, saying, really, it was a rough time for me to do something the other. And, I really care about this. And they all started crying. They had Keisha crying.
Well, because if he cried and I was there too, I would get teary-eyed because I'm a sucker too.
And then Michael was like, I'm so proud of O's come such a long way. And
I get it. Some people's hood is different than my hood, because I feel like I grew up in the hood too. I was in Mattapan. Yeah, I feel like I was in the hood too. But I do know that my experiences and yours too, Tanya, was different than people who didn't have maybe food to eat, that grew up or didn't have any role models or any family stability. I think we at least had that. But I think he had that too.
Thank you. Listen, let me just put this out here, Olajuwon, because and this is why I'm done with Olajuwon. There ain't nothing that brother can do or say to me that's gonna make me change my mind about him. I'm all set with him. We all have had our share of how we were brought up. Shahida, yes, me and Shahida grew up very close to each other in Boston. I came from a single parent household. But I kind of had two parents because I had my grandmother and my mother in the house. My dad wasn't in the house, but I had my grandmother in the house. We didn't have a whole lot, but we had a house. We had a roof over our head. We were fed. Like you said, Shahida, with Noy, I had no clue that we were strapped for money. And, bills were tight and food was tight. I had no clue about that until I was a full-ass, grown-ass adult. Because
whenever I went to your house, we ate out of your refrigerator.
Damn right. That's right. And I didn't realize it until I was a full-grown adult living my life. As in my world, my mother and my grandmother started having these conversations with me, like, this is what you need to be cognizant of. Watch your finances, make sure your credit's good, so that way we want you to do better than us. They raised me to do better than them. That was their goal. Back to Olajuwon. I don't care how I was raised. I would never put that on the person that I'm dating.
Exactly.
Never, ever, ever. I don't care if I meet you and you was homeless for all that matter. Like, he always is badgering her with it. Like, this is why I am the way that I am.
He's a bully.
I do this. That's why I bought my house. I paid my house off. I paid off my student loans. I travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. And basically saying to her, you ain't bringing shit to the table. I can't do this with you. That's wrong. You'd never you just don't do that. I would never do that to somebody.
You saw what he said at the end. It was like, so you're trying to, you say she should say no. Did you see that at the very end?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
and he goes, if you love love someone, you gotta, let them.
Yes, yes.
And he was
That's
saying
because, yeah,
He's
he
full of shit.
feels inferior.
he's like, and they said on the Lindsay actually said it on the after party. She's like, single woman. Oh no, maybe Keisha said it. She said, just because she's in school does not mean that she can't have a baby and still be okay and make him be a career. He just wants it the way he wants it. That's it. He
And
wants it the way he wants it.
His thought process is so ass backwards because he was raised in a single parent household.
Right.
His mother raised him and his two brothers. So if your mother isn't the example for you, then why are you browbeating?
Because he worked so hard. He worked so hard to get to where he is. He sacrificed all the things he had to do to get all the money and his house, and so he can travel and do the things he wants. He just wants someone to do that with him too.
So what do you want? Do you want a travel partner or do you want a wife? Because this whole season he's been throwing out this word, you are my wife. I am your husband. This is how we do things. Then be a husband and let your wife, if your wife wants to have a baby next week, let her have a baby. Let her be getting her nursing degree and you guys figure it out. Be the man, be the leader of your family and take care of your family.
He wants a wife who cooks, who cleans, who supports him, who knows how to shop, who's going to have babies, who's going to have a career, who's going to have some money, that's going to travel with him. He wants everything. He
wants everything. And that's why his ass is by himself and he's going to continue to be by himself because he has that Neanderthal mentality. Listen, I'm done with Olajuwon.
I don't think he's gonna. Go ahead. Finish.
There's a rumor that I saw in the interwebs this morning on one of the Married at First Sight pages that apparently, I hope this is not true, because if this is true, then somebody needs to handle Olajuwon physically. Like somebody needs to beat his ass. So there's a rumor out there that Olajuwon has a girlfriend and has had a girlfriend this whole time. And that's why he hasn't had sex with Katina.
Oh, well, makes sense.
That's why he hasn't, did the whole consummation of the marriage. That he's on there. Her friend, let's go to the beginning. When her friend, I forgot his name, Tyrell, I think his name's Tyrell, was calling him out like, I think he's here for status and likes on the Instagram and all this shit. He wants to parlay this into something else. That's the rumor that's floating around on
Makes complete sense then. That makes complete sense.
That's why he hasn't had sex with her, is because, and now how he's been so abrasive with her is because he has a girlfriend and he's not cheating on his girlfriend. So we'll see. And if that is true, if that comes out to be true, he is an asshole and somebody needs to deal with his ass.
Well, they should have vetted him too. They should have been like
old Chris Williams.
You really have, if he says no, they should be able to look. There's got to be a way to look on Instagram or look on something or find something.
They don't vet. They don't vet like that. They obviously, or they do, and they be like, let's get that person in here. Because just like with Chris Williams, it was easy enough to find out a lot of stuff about him, and they didn't. Now back to Olajuwon, I would be shocked if that's true, because I really, really thought that they were still together as of today. I still thought that they were together, but then that's one of those things where it's like it's out there in the interwebs, but you don't know if it's true or not, whether or not they stay together.
I have to look at my notes real quick because and then I'm done with these two.
So my thing with Olajuwon is like, again, I think a lot of people do this to create big narratives about themselves, and how they achieve things and how they did that. I don't see Olajuwon in a situation that he was struggling so much. I just feel that he does feel insecure about things. And I don't like to equate people, people deal with things differently, and his struggle could be different, especially being a young Black man, and then him maybe growing up and not feeling like he's definitely not light in the eyes of society,
Right.
but he is Black. So he definitely could have, and I always say that a Black man in the suburbs, their how they grow up and how they are relate to the world is how the world relates to them. So it is harder for Black men. So he could definitely be telling the truth on that, but it doesn't give you the right to be a bully to her. You know, if you really want a loving relationship, which he claims, you are not being a loving partner. You are being a bully partner. And the thing that bothers me most with Katina, and I like Katina a lot, why are you so impressed by this person? He's not that fucking impressive. You know, I mean,
I just think she's caught feelings.
she has really, I 100% agree
And
with
I
that.
think
She has.
Yeah, I think she's caught feelings, and she genuinely
Cares for him.
not only that, no, but also I think that she really wants to be married, and
Yes,
she
she does.
and this person has been nice to her and sweet to her and respectful, seemingly in terms of the sex
Yeah.
part. If a woman, if a in a normal relationship, if they're thrown to this thing and the man is like, let's just wait, because usually they're like, oh my God, let's just, because every time a man she's been in a relationship with, they've been like, when are we fucking? Right? And this is the first time a man has been like, maybe not been that way. I'm like, let's, but it would make sense if he had a girlfriend. But I think
to me, it does.
I think she's really, she's falling for him and is trying to do the process and open up to this man who's seemingly available, but he's not. Because now that you look, if that's the truth, you look about all the things he said and the hoops that he wants to jump through, any normal human being would be like, yeah, our baby, our family, he doesn't say that. He's like, your career, your so-and-so, you can't do this. I want this. I want this. And I'm wondering if his girlfriend does all the things that he wants. She cooks for him. I bet you she's subservient. I bet you she takes care of him. I bet you she does whatever he tells her to do. I bet you gives him whatever money she has.
Yeah. Well, here's what
I'm telling you.
Really, on this episode, here is when, I was already done with him, but here was when I was like, I'm officially done with him. There's nothing this Negro can say to me. When he was, again, talking about himself, and they were sitting on the bench, I think. And remember when he said, again, he was bragging about himself and how wonderful he is and how he's paid off his house and paid off his student
loans. Did he say he paid off his house, bro?
He claims he has no bills. I did that. I bought my house. I paid it off. I paid off my student loans. I paid off all my debt.
I keep missing that part. Okay.
And then he looked at her and said, lock it in. He's a fucking catch. They bleeped that shit out. If I was a woman, I'd be like, lock it in. He's a fucking catch. And I was like, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, you ain't shit. I don't give a shit if you was a fucking gazillionaire. Your attitude is just unattractive to me.
It really is. And if those are all the things that you have done, and think about it, we have done those things. All three of us have done those things. That's not how I lead. That's not how I lead. I don't have to. Those things don't make me. But how I treat people and, the treatment I get from other people, those are the things that make me. So it's still that little dick energy that he has to me. Why are you so insecure? Because I don't need to go up to people and give them a long resume of all the things I've accomplished. They come out in conversation.
Of course.
They come out. But I don't have to start and end with that because there's so much in between. And what he doesn't have is none of the stuff that makes him a good, solid person.
And
You
I
missed
think
all
he's full of
that.
shit because, like I always say, and this, my mother has been saying this to me for years. Friends have been saying this for me for years. When people when people talk about what they have, it's the loudest people that ain't got shit. When it comes to money, success, whatever. Them people that are always like ain't got shit. It's the quiet people that you got to, be looking at like
Exactly.
It makes complete sense that for him to say, I think she should say no, he feels so bad that he has a girlfriend then. He feels and she's emotional and she's in it and he can see that she's in it. I wonder if he
That's so confusing to me.
I think it has to be. Because if he says, I would, she should say, if you really love someone, you care for someone, they should say no because, it has to be. It has to be. Because there's no reason why he wouldn't want to sleep with her. Right at this point, after all the intimacy and after all the stuff, if he hasn't slept with her by now, there's something has to be up with that.
I agree.
Not waiting until we're emotionally connected. They've been emotionally connected, so that is not the excuse anymore. So he must have another girlfriend, or have a girlfriend, or has to.
Yeah.
There's no way for him not to. And she's into him, and she's like, he said he wants to wait. There's got to be something going on with that.
Yeah.
Got to be something going on with that.
So Shahida and I didn't watch the after party. Any good tidbits from the after party?
No, Lindsay was just saying, Mark, we have so much fun together, but he's unstable and I need stability. That's what she was saying.
She said he's unstable.
She said he's unstable. I need stability, and he's all over the place, and I need stability. Elijah said, yeah, if you really care about someone, that's why I was hard on her. Yeah, I think she should say, she should say no if, and they're like, well, why can't you? And Keisha was like, why can't you have a baby and
go to
have
school,
a career and this and the other? He's like, yeah, but I want what's best for her or whatever.
Please.
And then Michael was just people go back to school with children or having children, or I got 2 people I know now going back for their masters. They have children. I have a person going for their bachelors. They have children. This is not 1942.
Nope.
And you don't know what's best for someone more than they know what's best for them. You are not her overseer here.
But if you were the man that you claim to be, your thing would be like, I'm gonna support her fully. She's gonna go to school. We can have children. I know people who travel with babies that are twins.
Yep.
Out of the country.
Yep.
That's a partnership.
You want to be this power couple. That's what you do as a man. Boo, I got you. You're finishing. You're in the midst of your bachelor's degree to get your nursing license. Go ahead, boo boo. I got this. I'll pick up this.
I don't like the fact that we don't know all the information that he must have a girl. He must have a girlfriend. Because now we're watching it like, well, what's
Chris is like, he's on that one.
I don't like the fact that if you're gonna do this experiment, people want to be on this thing for a reason, not for clout. So now we've seen 4 or 5 in the last couple of years that are just been for clout.
Thank you.
Just for clout, or just for
and
exposure.
You can tell who they are.
You can tell they are like Larissa, Clarissa, whatever, Alyssa, whatever the fuck her name is. Where Chris really wants to be married and really wants to be with someone. She's not in it for, if she gets what she wants, she will be. But she's not gonna anyway.
And they're gonna, true to form, Lifetime, I guarantee you, with the reunion, they're gonna drag her ass back out there just because they should never invite her back for the reunion. But I guarantee you, we'll see her ass and Chris. Chris, I get But Alyssa should never be invited to the reunion. But I guarantee you she'll be on that reunion, and it'll be all unleashing the Kraken again.
What is she really gonna say? I mean, I agree 100%.
I'm a good person.
Gonna be on there.
I'm not that person.
You have to bring to the conversation nothing.
I'm not that person. I'm a good person. I'm not a bad person. I'm a good person. They're gonna show the clips. They're gonna drag her ass and show all the clips of her acting insane, and she's gonna probably cry and storm out and do what she does. And because they want, it's the drama. They want
the wedding. When is decision day? Next week?
I think it's
two more weeks.
Oh,
and
you
then,
kidding?
We have another month of this.
Basically, I think it ends like around May 7th or something.
Gee.
And
then we have the reunion show.
Well, we gotta finish it. We gotta watch, and they're gonna drag the reunion out for 2 episodes. It's gonna be 2 weeks, and I guarantee you, the first reunion show is gonna be 2 hours, and the next one's gonna be 2 hours. Ugh.
Did you see the preview for next week?
Yes. No, I did not.
Nothing. What was it? Nothing. I mean, yeah, they try to tease you with a couple of little arguments. I don't care. I don't care
either. Let's just move to next week. They went through the hometowns. That was great. Their letters to their former self. Great. This episode coming up should be decision day. There's nothing else you can show us. Married at
First Sight. This is the last one before decision day, and I looked at the preview. I saw the little angst things that they were trying to get you interested. Don't care. Do not care. There's nothing you can.
And we're not the only ones that don't care. Lifetime. There's
it's horrible.
Lot of people on the internet that are done.
I'm going to say one thing about Olajuwon and Katina before we wrap this up, because we're all tired. I see Chris has hopped on to the girlfriend thing, and I'm kind of leaning that way too. The only thing is that I just really feel that they are still together. So it will be. I really feel that they are still together. Which is unfortunate. I don't see him change now, but this girlfriend thing has really gotten me too. I'm like, that makes sense. The not having sex, and even the bullying part, like you said, Chris, because I said this last week, things could be going smooth, and he literally does something to disrupt it, to make it a big thing. And then he'll come back and say, I really feel like she's my ride or die because she really stands by me. We can have an argument and you wouldn't know 15 minutes later. But these arguments, I'm looking at these arguments and how they come about. Why are you starting them, sir? Why do you feel the need?
Just like the app.
The girlfriend thing, it could possibly be it. But if he really does have a girlfriend and it actually comes out sooner or later, because I really think that they're together. So, but let's say, just for devil's advocate thing, if he really does and it comes out, I will be so mad at the producers for putting this woman through this kind of fucking hell. Because
it's emotional terrorism.
Emotional damage.
It's emotional terrorism.
Just Alyssa so hard to make this work, to make this, and she's happy. I'm looking at it. I don't see why you're happy, but she is happy. So if there is another woman, he needs his ass whooped.
Thank you. I was gonna be like, he needs his ass beat for real though.
Hold on now, girls gotta take a time getting pretty.
What?
Yes, you were.
Emotional, damn it.
On that note, y'all, listen, we're done. Until next week, we'll see you next time.
And we gotta do a poll and discuss what shows are we gonna pick up, because we can't keep doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can't keep doing this.
I've been watching Temptation Island, which is a wreck. It's not even worth watching.
We gotta.
90 Day Fiance just started.
I think I'm gonna go into 90 Day Fiance.
It's good.
It is. How many episodes in are we?
1. The new season
Oh, okay.
just
I'm gonna watch
started.
that now.
The new
I'm gonna
season
watch that
just started. Second
Okay.
episode is this Sunday, so you can catch up now. Try to watch that now.
And
I'm gonna
let's
watch it. I'm
or
gonna
we
hang
can
up. I'm
do
gonna.
Pretty good. It's
because
pretty
we
good.
don't need to do a whole hour talking about Married at First Sight.
No, we
even
don't.
if we continue,
No, we don't.
we
No,
can
we
mix
don't.
it up because
You got a whole hour on. I can tell you one thing. 90. You got. Both of you would have a lot to say about. Okay, one of the. Let me describe one of them
Go
to
ahead.
you. A brother, Muslim,
I saw that.
OCD.
Mm-hmm.
Is he from here?
He's a no.
From
No.
America. He's
He's
American.
from Ohio.
He's from America.
He's from America. Wants everything perfect. Has some money. Drives a Mercedes. Has some car. Has a Muslim, beautiful black Muslim. Was married. Has 2 kids. They're still friends. The kids are like teens, young teens.
Okay.
Met this woman, beautiful Muslim woman. Not sure what country she's from. I forgot. He's coming over. She's coming over here. He doesn't want to show her the house because he wants to know if she's there for him, or her.
Okay.
So he rents or goes to and sets up a shit house when he picks her up in a fucking van to bring her. She hasn't come yet. That's the next episode. So, to bring her to this shit house to see how she reacts to it.
I got issues with this.
As a joke.
Uh-huh.
So you'll see how that, and you're not. I don't think you're not gonna like him too. I know you're like.
Oh, because I got issues with this already.
There's a white girl with a 23-year-old Venezuelan. She's like 26. He's like 23. 20. She's like 28. She's like 23. That's just a regular whatever. There's a white girl who was kind of a wild child who went down to Jamaica or someplace else.
Of course she did.
Or whatever, not Jamaica, but he's African, was an international underwear model. And she got pregnant, had the baby, COVID, hasn't seen the sun for 17 months. She's a mom and gained probably 30, 40 pounds with a baby. And he's going to see her for the first time in 17 months and live at her family's house. And he can't have a job for a year or some shit like that, or like 8 months. He can't have a job.
I mean,
the father's like, so
you're
only going to be living on my dime?
This hard.
I mean,
are people that desperate to be in relationships? Because I know I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are. And then
so those are the 3 that I remember. There's one more. There's one. I think there's a Brazilian chick with a guy. Wow. There's an older woman with it. But those are 3 to tantalize you. So try to watch that.
Oh, I'm going. When we click off, I'm watching it. I'm going to click it on, fill up my wine glass, and watch it right now.
I will watch it either tonight or tomorrow. But yeah,
love
we
love
can't.
you.
We'll
Bye,
see you guys next week. Don't hang up yet, but do.